Let's get started. This is Travis from Carter Cow Capital. This is episode 322 of Trade with Travis. Hopefully, everybody's doing very well. For the people that are watching on YouTube or the people that are watching on TradeView, thank you for being able to pop in. We're going to end up taking a look at what's happening on the charts, being able to see if there's any other trading opportunity to be able to get in. And then after that, um, we have some trades that we end up taking a look at, including the ones that we end up taking in our last session. We end up going through them. I'm going to end up writing hate inside of the chat box, but let me go ahead and get through the disclaimer, and then after that, we'll go from there. I'm not a CTA, so I'm not going to tell you whether to buy or to sell. What I'm going to do is teach you education, and from the education, you can be able to make your own informed decision. I understand that trading involves risk. It involves risk of being able to make money. Also involves risk of being able to lose money. So please keep that in mind and understand that past performance is not indicative of future results, which means that if you end up making money yesterday, it's not promised that you can end up making money today. So with that being said, as we go through and be able to take a look at this, I'm going to end up going and taking a look at what's happening with the charts, being able to kind of go through and kind of get an understanding about what's happening for today's movement. We have news that's going to end up happening and affecting the New Zealand dollar a little bit later on today, but going into the beginning portions of today, there's really nothing that you have to really kind of pay attention to. You end up having interest rate decisions from the New Zealand dollar, and then after that, monetary policy statement that's going to end up happening from the New Zealand dollar as well. Just have to pay attention to that a little bit more. That's going to end up happening at 20, basically a little bit later on tonight in my time. That's close to 9 o'clock. So, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So we'll have to be able to pay attention to what they're going to end up saying. I just know that it's going to end up being after hours trading or a little bit later on trading that it's going to end up being affected by this overall movement. Now, with that being said, as we end up going through and taking a look at each and every trade that we end up taking a look at, I want to focus in on the ones that we end up possibly looking at being able to get in. Some of the ones that we end up talking about and highlighting. The first one that I want to talk about is Nas 100. We'll go ahead and go through this one and get this one out the way. Last time we ended up taking a look at this, our idea and our thought process was that we wanted to be able to look to be able to sell at resistance at the around the consolidation support of 1820 to 1850, and would like to be able to take that U-turn all the way down to 1700 as long as this market ends up remaining and continuing to keep on being rejected off of these spots. Now, last night, I ended up missing my chance to be able to get in off of this position. There was a counter trend line break that ended up happening. It ended up happening right around 17,980. Now, remember, we said that we wanted to catch this market right around 1820 to 1850. So that was the whole reason why I did not be able to get in the trade, or that's the whole reason why I did not look at being able to trade it at that particular point. Now we're seeing a little bit more consolidation. We know that's not a news related thing that's going to end up coming out. Maybe it might be earnings. I know that there are some people that are going to end up having some earnings reports that's going to end up happening today that may end up affecting the market. But the overall thought process is being able to see if this market can be able to get up to resistance again and look at being able to sell once that market ends up getting to that point. I am interested in being able to see that once that happens. Um, let's see. Yeah, I am interested to be able to see when that happens. But um, currently right now, I don't see it as of yet. I don't see that we have a move that I'm pretty much interested in being able to jump in uh, as of yet. Right now, I want to see how the market kind of react going into the 9:30 hour. We'll kind of get a better idea about what's happening. But if you end up getting in off of this counter trend line break, you probably would have made right now. You would have been up 80 points, but currently right now you probably would have been basically at break even or a little bit of a loss. So you're not missing anything. We're just kind of paying attention to how that kind of goes. US 30 end up taking a look at that. I think we end up having a trade off of gold as well. US 30, we did not take a trade, but we were kind of paying attention to how the market was going to end up reacting. Remember, it ended up bouncing off the 23.6, made a U turn, and then after that, since then, has started to be able to retrace and start to fall down from there. That's why it's kind of hard to be able to be interested in being able to take a trade that only has a 23.6 retracement without it actually end up breaking a B. So, with that being said, I do expect that the market will continue to fall today, which will actually end up affecting what's happening with Nas 100 as well. I do expect that that will fall. We just have to find our best positions to be able to get in and kind of go from there. Nas 100, US 30. I'm actually looking at being able to buy. We don't have a great position to be able to jump in at this particular point until that actually ends up happening. Okay, so index pairs currently right now, I'm going to end up waiting on those and we'll kind of get a better idea about what's happening overall for those pairs and kind of go from there. Last time we ended up taking a look at gold, we were looking for a sale. We talked about two different positions to be able to get in. I think the last time we ended up taking a look at it, we ended up having a counter trend line break that ended up happening right here at this particular point. The market kind of broke, and then after that, kind of relaxed. And since then, it's then gave another opportunity being given to get in. So you have not got in off of gold. We still are looking at this market being able to fall. I'm going to do a full breakdown talking about the weekly, daily, and what's happening overall currently right now. If we take a look at the weekly, we can see that the weekly is somewhat in the buy zone. So just keep that in mind. Weekly was in the buy zone and forced this overall move. We were looking at a scalping opportunity when it came down to that, but the market was inside of a triangle. It broke outside of this triangle to the downside, retested, and currently right now price is basically back in the middle. So that means that all bets are off when it comes down to movement. And if we're taking a look at the stochastic will end up telling us that there's a better chance of the market pushing bullish than it is bearish. Now, if we end up taking a look at the daily's in the sell zone, and the stochastic is in the sell zone, and we're basically close back to the middle of what a consolidation was in the first place. So that means to me, there's really no trade to be able to take if we're talking about it and we're being very real today. So gold, if you did not take the trade yesterday, for us being able to scalp and didn't get anything out of it, quite frankly, I wouldn't look at being able to add on or being able to get into a position today based off of gold, just based off of what I'm looking at right now. It doesn't matter about what the 2 hours showing me. It really doesn't matter about what the 15 minutes show me. If you take a look at the long-term time frames, you'll take a look and see that the weekly is in the buy zone, the daily is in the sell zone. That means that from a time frame alignment standpoint, they're trading in opposite directions. If they're trading in opposite directions, then there's no trade to be able to take. Okay, type in a Y yes if that makes sense. Once again, if the weekly is trading in one direction and the daily is trading in the opposite direction, then that means that there's no trade of being able to take. You basically end up limiting your uh, you end up decreasing your overall chance of being profitable by 50% by being able to take a look at a trade like that. Okay. So we're not there yet. Really not to be able to do, not interested in being able to do it. I'll go ahead and go from there. United States dollar index. Took a look at the dollar. We're saying that the United States dollar, just in general, is going inside of a was inside of a triangle, broke out, retested, showed back up inside of a triangle, and we're waiting for this market to be able to move. As we end up taking a look at how this market is basically kind of moving from here, we can see that the stochastic is basically in a no trade zone. Because the stochastic is in a no trade zone, it doesn't make it very easy to be able to take a trade and kind of take a look at, and that's taking a look at it from a daily position. Let's go ahead and take a look at it from a 2 hour position. We can see that currently right now, we end up talking about being able to get in as a buy. We talked about hopefully kind of catching this market when the market end up falling down to support and being able to take a buy from there. Yesterday, that move actually ended up happening. I was not able to be able to catch it. I was not paying attention to what ended up happening with gold, but it did fall down and end up going down to the spot that we thought it was going to go, which was at 13,000. It went to 13,005 for us being able to push up. Now, as we end up taking a look at gold and kind of seeing how this market is going to end up reacting today and tomorrow, and kind of going into, remember we got new month starting off in on Thursday, which means that non-farm payroll is going to end up being on Friday. It's no wonder why the market is basically inside of consolidation on how it's moving. Okay, so um, we may end up seeing some more consolidation, just kind of bouncing around until this market is truly be able to make a decision. And once the news ends up coming out, then you can kind of go from there. What's going on, Casey? So I would not look at being able to rush inside of the United States dollar. I would not look at being able to swing trade the United States dollar at this particular point. If you're looking at any types of trades on the United States dollar front, it should be only scalping opportunities, unless you know that you're trying to get in at support and you're trying to take it for a long term position all the way up to the upside, which means that going and taking a look at what we have, you'll probably get better positions and kind of going from there. And we'll go from there. Is this real? Yes, it is. I hope everything's going well with you. We end up taking a look at I end up trading with my automation systems, and I end up doing manual trading as well. Let's take a look at oil. Oil still not interested in being able to trade. We talked about this for a while, unfortunately. If we take a look at what's happening with the daily, we can see that the daily is still inside of a consolidation inside of a consolidation. Long-term consolidation is at 82.50, which is the resistance. If we take a look at the support, it's at 63.60. That is the long-term support. And since then, the market has been inside of a consolidation, where the resistance, we end up taking a look at the high price of this is 79.15, and the low price is right around 68.18. Currently, the market right now is at 72.72, getting very close to being able to break out the resistance, but it's just not ready to be able to break out yet. So remember, thought process when you're looking at being able to buy consolidation trades are very simple. You want to look at buying at support or selling at resistance. Everywhere else does not matter. Once the market ends up breaking out of the position, then you wait for the retest, and then after that, you trade it from there. So if it breaks out, look for the retest and look at being able to go. If you're a person that believes that the consolidation is going to end up being there for the main frame of the time, then you look at being able to sell. But at this particular point, because the market has hit support more than 3 times, then it's kind of hard to be able to say that you want to be able to stay in the trade for this being able to sell and taking it all the way down to the bottom. You look at being able to sell and take it to the halfway point, you got a higher probability trade right there. Currently, right now, if we look at price is nowhere to be found at a resistance or a support level. So that means that there's no trade to be able to take. All right. So we just took a look at oil. We took a look at gold. We took a look at the United States dollar index. Let's take a look at Bitcoin real quick. Let's see what's happening with that bad boy. And then after that, we'll kind of go from there. Bitcoin broke out of consolidation. It broke out of consolidation, I believe, yesterday. And kind of pushed out to this position. Anytime that you end up having a consolidation piece like that, then you end up having a large breakout to the upside. It's going to end up eventually happening. And it's been showing this pattern for a while. Let me see. I got a better chart right here. We talked about this a few days ago. We ended up saying that once the market ends up breaking out of 56,000, then after that, have the chance of being able to run the position where I thought it was going to end up running up to 65. I still believe that 65 is the number that will end up being hit eventually at some particular point. But the next number that I will pay attention to for this market being able to go up and continue to keep on going up is 59,164. Now, the question is, should you look at being able to jump in right now? My answer to you would be an emphatic no. The reason why I would say no is because that this is a breakout. When you're looking at a breakout, you're not trying to chase it and trying to get into the price right now, and then after that, the market just falls on you. When we end up taking a look at this consolidation, this market kind of gave you 2 different moves. There was a breakout that ended up happening, and we had a slight retest on that second candlestick that ended up happening right there, which was yesterday. So we did have a breakout. We did have a slight retracement. If you end up jumping in on that, then that's great. You end up having a large move to the upside that you can be able to ride and be able to go from there. Now, taking a look at this from where you are right now, this market has moved up $4,000 in the past day. Typically, what will end up happening is that the market will end up having a retracement, and then after that, you can be able to jump in and kind of go from there. All right. So that retracement that we're kind of looking for is kind of being able to turn past resistance into a future support, and then after that, if you can be able to catch that trade, then you can be able to go from there. So look at this market kind of fall. Hopefully, you can be able to catch it, or hopefully, it can be able to retrace a little bit, and then after that, give you a push back up. Now, non-farm payroll may not help it out. There's really no news from the Bitcoin front that will end up making it push to the downside as of yet. So you want to be patient on this one. Just keep your eyes out on it, and then after that, once we end up getting that retracement, then after that we can be able to make a trade from there. If that makes sense, please type in a why yes. For the people that ended up catching Bitcoin yesterday, congratulations. I've been in for a while, so it's just kind of waiting and just collecting passive income at this particular point. But congratulations for the people that end up catching the market when they end up breaking out of that overall area. I am at the point to where I have took a look at everything aside from Euro United States, Pound United States dollar, or anything else like that. Is there certain pairs that y'all would like to be able to take a look at? I'm talking to everybody that is live at this particular point. If you have a pair or you have a trading opportunity that you would like to look at and share, place it inside of the chat box right now, and we'll kind of go over those and kind of answer that. While y'all are doing that, I'm going to take a look at my automation systems and kind of see what's going on with those. Currently, right now, take a look at what's going on with my mean reversion system. There's really no trade currently right now. The market's still in consolidation. It's kind of a U.S.-based type of system. So once the market ends up hitting extreme highs or extreme lows, and they'll be interested in being able to take a trade. There's really nothing to be able to do right now. My up and down system is not taking trades at this particular point because down there's really no revision, and up there was a breakout, but we ended up having high impact news. So end up getting rejected by high impact news. So if you want to take a look at that, y'all can be able to see that on my FX book. I try to be as transparent as possible, being able to show what's going on with those trades and kind of give an idea that it definitely can be able to work for you, and kind of give you a better understanding about what that looks like. So I'm gonna place that inside of the chat box. Once again, everything that I end up doing, I try to be as transparent as possible, so everybody can be able to see it, and kind of go from there. If you want to take a look at it, there it is right there. That's my track record when it comes down to that. That's a 100% real account. All right. What else? What else? What else? What else? Just waiting on people. Just waiting on people. If you have any trading opportunities, if not, I'm gonna go ahead and take a look at Euro United States and see what's going on with that one. All right. So Euro United States dollar weekly perspective. Market is in the middle of a no trade zone, um, or middle of a consolidation zone. Since um, over the course of the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, 3 weeks ago, the market ended up having about 8 weeks of downside movement, which pushed the market inside of the buy zone, which means that we're looking at United States dollar weakness that may end up being impending over the course of the near future, going into the summer trading and everything else like that. There is a counter trend line break that has been broken to the upside, that we have to be able to pay attention to. For this movement with the market being in the buy zone. So that means that people, early adapters, are people looking at being able to buy this after this candlestick, after this indecision candlestick, and this breakout with this retest, then you would have been good for it being able to move. We end up saying 1.8, 1.850 with one of those positions that you wanted to be able to pay attention to because it was a natural pivot area where we end up having support and a little bit of resistance be at, but it hasn't been one of those numbers that has truly just pushed the market down. Now, from a daily perspective, we end up taking a look at it. The market is inside of the sell zone. So it kind of goes back to what we end up talking about with the United States dollar index. We have a breakout, but we don't have a retest. For the people that end up getting in a couple days ago, or people that end up getting in on the, what day was this? People that end up getting in on the 16th, then you are already in this trade. You already end up making about 100 points, but the market is starting to seem like it's starting to slow down a little bit. So once again, the weeklies in the buy zone and the dailies in the weeklies in the buy zone and the dailies in the sell zone, which means that once again we don't have time frame alignment. So if you're looking at jumping in as a first trade, I would not recommend jumping in as a first trade because you're looking at something that has only a 50% chance of being able to win once again. So I would be looking more for. I'll be waiting and kind of sitting on my hands to see if the market is going to end up giving you a retracement. And if it gives you a retracement, then it will give you better value for the long term buy. If you're looking at being able to scalp, I will almost say that there's a better chance of looking at and seeing that the market may end up falling at some point. But you want to look for a counter trend line break, and that hasn't happened either. So if you're looking at being able to buy, you're in the middle of a long-term consolidation level, and we've already done seen that the market's done been a little bit overbought. If you're looking at being able to sell, there's no confirmation of being able to get in, so there's really no move to be able to take. So that means that you wait. And we've seen that with the United States dollar index, and it's kind of confirming that for what we end up taking a look at with Euro United States. Is there any other pair that anybody would like to be able to take a look at as we end up going through and taking a look? Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do is this: we'll end up continuing the conversation on our other platforms and kind of going from there. Trading opportunities that we're still kind of looking at or that we're still kind of playing out. Remember, we have I believe it was Nas 100. Take a look at the gold trade that we end up taking a look at. Quite frankly, there's really nothing to be able to do. Um, US 30, the last time we end up taking a look at it, there's an expectation that the market will end up falling. But long-term pushes to the upside. I do expect that this market will end up falling, so it's really nothing to be able to do there. Nas 100. Remember, the markets won't open up until 9:30, or really start pushing until 9:30. Remember, the biggest play that I think that we have, or the best play that I think we have, is still looking at being able to sell. I would like this market to be able to push up a little bit more, hit this resistance again, and then after that, look at being able to sell. Currently, right now, we're not there yet. If we do get that, then I like it. I like the indecision. I like the indecision candlestick to break. This market has not broke the high of this one, and has not broke the swing high of this move that ended up happening 2 days ago, which means that we have a good opportunity of being able to see that this market falls, and we have a stop loss position that we can be able to hold on to, which is at 18,150. Now, we need confirmation that this market is going to continue to fall before being able to add on. And the reason why we haven't added on yet is because that when the market ended up breaking down and pushing back up, it never got to the position where we want to get out at. So we get better value if we end up being patient. We just have to wait. We'll see how the market kind of plays itself out, and then kind of go from there. All right. With that being said, you like what I ended up doing, please make sure that you end up clicking on that boost button. I do appreciate if you would end up doing that. I'm going to end up sending over the recap of this over to our friends over at Expert Advisor Review, so you can be able to take a look at that from a manual trading perspective. And like always, make sure that you end up planning your trade your plan. I see each and every one of y'all in the next video. Take it easy. Good luck to y'all in trading today.